extremely well-endowed young man
introduced himself to her. He invited her to go for a ride in a taxi cab. They did something Alice had never done before. After they had done it several times in different ways, Herbert suggested that Alice tidy up at the home of his aunt, Lady Celia, who welcomed them with great cordiality. Lady Celia led Alice to her boudoir, where she requested the girls before a rather surprising ceremony. Herbert's own invention called Thumb Bumble. They then sat down to a sumptuous tea. After he had finished the washing up, Albert the butler,
an unusually well-formed man of middle age,
joined them for another frolic. Herbert and Lady Celia had little difficulty in persuading Alice to spend a few days with them. In the interval before dinner, she perused an album of instructive chromolithographs entitled Die 39 Stufen,
the 39 positions,
which Lady Celia had thoughtfully left out. Colonel Gilbert and his wife Louise came in after dinner. Both of them had wooden legs with which they could do all sorts of entertaining tricks. Was a huge success. In spite of someone fainting from time to time, Alice, quite exhausted, was helped to bed by Lady Celia's French maid, Lise, whom she found delightfully sympathetic. for a lemonsies. Looking out the window, she saw Herbert, Albert, and Harold the gardener. Disporting themselves off the lawn. Joined by Donald.
Herbert's singularly well-favored sheepdog.
And many were the giggles and barks that came from the shrubbery. Who, having put on an ingeniously constructed bathing slip, met her at the pool. Oh dear.
Yes.
Getting a little bit warm in
Do you
here.
care for your robe, my dear?
I think a robe would be wonderful this time. A little bit of a heat going on. Thank you, my dear. Better to get a little more comfortable, I think, don't you? Comfortable is definitely the way to go. Much better. Shall we? At luncheon, which was al fresco, Lady Celia announced they were invited to the Gilberts for the weekend. To beguile the tedium of the journey, Albert read aloud from Volume 11 of the Encyclopedia of Unimaginable Customs. As they drove to the house, Lucy, the Gilbert's daughter, and Gerald, her fiancé,
An uncommonly well-shaped older man
emerged from an ornamental urn. In the library, Scylla, one of the guests who had certain anatomical peculiarities, demonstrated the Lithuanian typewriter, assisted by Ronald and Robert.
uncommonly shaped older man. man from the village.
provided everyone with the most astonishing device. Still later, Gerald did a terrible thing to Elsie with a saucepan. The party split into twos and threes before retiring. Don't you want to know what happened to the sofa? We haven't even reached the sofa yet, my dear, and maybe we should...
Darling,
The Benjamins gave us this gift at least to just try and finish.
I do suppose I'm terribly curious about that sofa.
Yes. Yes, let's continue with the story, shall we?
Go on. Just go.
At breakfast, it was learned that Elsie had expired during the night. And gloom descended on everybody. When a change of scene was proposed, Lady Celia suggested a visit to nearby seat of Sir Edward, a dear friend of her youth. Sir Edward,
Extraordinarily well-proportioned old gentleman.
and his friend Louis having a romp on the terrace.
Romp?
They all went indoors and worked up some most intriguing charades. During the light buffet supper, Louis did a dance with a boa. show them his famous sofa, and Alice felt a shudder of nameless apprehension. It stood in a windowless room, lined with polar bear fur, and otherwise empty. It was upholstered in scarlet velvet, and had 9 legs and 7 arms. As soon as everybody had crowded into the room, Sir Egbert fastened shut the door, and started up the machinery inside the sofa. When Alice saw what was about to happen, she began to scream uncontrollably. Let's hear it again for Vau De Vire Society and Rosin Come In, and that curious, most very curious sofa.